Hey guys, what's going on? In this video, I did something a little different. Um, Nick was in town from Nova Scotia for the last couple of weeks, and we got together and did a hike and had a great time. And during that hike, we thought we would sit down and just kind of have a fireside chat and talk about the years that we've spent together, trail running and exploring new places, taking our families on different vacations, and the good times that we've had over the years through our friendship. Um, and it's funny, running brought us all together. I started running with Nick, helping him for his first 100-mile race, and that's where I met Mark, training for that, and then ended up helping Mark with his race, and just had an unbelievable time, built some great relationships. And so anyway, we just sat down and just no plan or anything, just off the cuff, remember the good times we had. And so it's kind of special video for us, so I hope you enjoy.
Relay together. That was the first time I met you.
Yeah.
So, or was it the 100?
No, it was training for the 100.
Was it training for the 100?
Yeah, because he got me into running. We used to do 5Ks and 10Ks, and that became more than or he wanted to do more than that.
Sure.
And so we would meet every Monday and run Monday afternoon. Then he got into the group club with you guys, and then he decided he wanted to do the JFK 50. So he and I both got into that, and we did the JFK 50 miler.
So was that
together in
before?
Maryland. That was before the 100. And after,
Was that before Blue Ridge?
Yes.
Because I remember having a spaghetti dinner before the Blue Ridge, and I thought that was where I first met you.
Well, the JFK, I think we did it after. I think it was in the fall, and it's hard to remember right now.
It's hard to remember.
So that first year we did it with Stephen, not with us anymore, but there was a professor from Bob Jones. You remember that guy?
I do.
And who drove for us?
That big dude.
That big dude.
He was a big guy. He was
Ben?
as tall as you, but
Ben.
bigger around, thicker.
Is it? We had a buddy named Ben Bish. Maybe it was him. I'm not sure, but anyway.
And Hans ran on that team.
Hans ran on that team. That's right. Hans was our ace in the hole for that. And for those who don't know, the Blue Ridge Relay 200-mile race starts at the North Carolina-Virginia border, Grayson Highlands Park.
With the biting ponies.
Yes, fearsome
Biting ponies.
And we've all done it several times. We've done it together, even twice, I believe.
Yeah.
But and then it runs and is a relay all the way down to Asheville.
Yeah, because Scott replaced Clevy for me, the second team that I had.
Yeah. You ran it twice, right?
I don't remember.
I think I've got
think
six
so.
different Blue Ridge Relay magnets.
So what were our names? So the first one was Dude, Where's My Van?
Mine was Oreo Speedwagon, all the years that I did.
We did it 3 times as Oreo Speedwagon.
Yeah.
Right? Because
Yeah.
we had the multiple tours, as we said.
Yeah, multiple. Yeah.
I think we did Dude, Where's
the
My Van maybe twice.
farewell tour.
Yeah.
Still got the T-shirt.
Do you?
Prove I was there, right?
Yeah. Matt Verley did it, Blue Ridge Relay. It was Matt.
Matt was the craziest guy to run that with because he was so on and knowing how long it would take him to run. He would call his time
Down to the
exact
minute.
To the minute, and would show up at the exchange right on it
To the
every
minute.
time.
Yeah.
Didn't matter how tough it was. Didn't matter the conditions of, was it hot, cold, night, day. He knew it. It was crazy.
And he always had the longest legs.
Yeah.
Not like I guess maybe in reality too, other than yours, he had the longest legs. But his legs on that run were, he always did the 10 or 11 or
Yeah.
13 milers. He had the
Because
big
this
ones.
is normally a race where 12 people run and split up, so they each have 3 legs. But we always did it as an ultra team, and so we had 6 runners. And
Which I felt was more fun.
it was a lot more fun, but you all stayed together the whole time.
Yeah.
But yeah, once you started getting into legs 3, 4, and 5, you got the night coming in and tired legs, and it's getting tougher, but always a good time.
And it was Aaron and Clevy and you and Angela Tucci
Angela, yeah.
and me. Who was there? Who was the other one?
Joel
No, Joel. We
didn't run
remember
that
this.
those years.
It was you, Matt.
Or Matt, yeah.
Matt. That's 6 people.
Yeah. And then Ben would drive.
And my team's Lori drove.
Do you remember the van? I got to tell this story. You remember how easy that van was to get from drive down to Granny first gear, going up that hill?
No.
We pulled out from
I
stopping.
don't know if I'm picking up what you're putting down.
This is funny. I'm in the passenger seat. We pull out of having stopped at the gas station. We start up this little hill. And that van was so easy to pull down into drive and then to shift one more further down into the automatic
low
shift.
range, and it's
Low
just
range. And Mark's just driving away, and I'm sitting here waiting on this thing to change gears, and that motor's winding out, and it's 3, 4, 5,000 RPM screaming at us as loud as it can. I'm like,
Never shifted.
Mark, you gonna do anything about this?
No, it's a rental. Oh, we turned those vans back in the worst shape.
Smell awful. Well, we
We
took them
would
apart.
Febreze 'em,
We
yeah.
took them apart before we ever even
Oh,
got on the road.
Enterprise
Show up
don't.
at your shop.
What cameras? Enterprise don't know nothing about that.
we,
Keep
put
that
the,
quiet.
we put the pieces
We
back
put 'em.
together. So
It's fine. But yeah, we would go to the
jumped-
shop.
Yeah, we've jumped way ahead here from where we started. We jumped right into like
Yeah.
middle of our running years. So, but getting back to the point where we started, how long we've been together? It's been a while.
I think I got fit in 07, I think. Maybe, yeah, I think 07 I started doing boot camps and running with that group downtown. And I remember distinctly, I had a really, this might be scruffy now, but I had a really scruffy beard because I was doing John the Revelator for the Christmas play.
Okay.
And I would go downtown and run with the group, and I had no running clothes at all. And they had like a flannel shirt and shorts and that beard. So I went down to the bank where we met, and I'm just hanging out. I was there before everybody, and the cop showed up. He was like, "Hey, man,
It's not looking sketchy at all.
what
right?
are you doing here?" And I was like, "I'm waiting on my running group, sir." And he goes, "I believe I'll just wait a minute and see if they show up." Okay.
What are you running from, sir?
What are you running from, sir? Oh God! So after that, I think it was Trina and oh God, Amy Ryberg went to Jeff Milliman at Run In separately, and when Mark comes in here for shoes, he needs clothes.
Oh yeah,
That was
I
stupid.
remember Jeff. Yeah,
Yeah, he still runs Greenville Running Company.
does he?
Yeah.
Okay.
He helped me out when nobody else would. You know, he was just a great help to my running, I hate to say career, but the time that I spent running with you guys, Jeff really helped me. And the time that when I needed money, when I needed a job, Jeff put me to work. When the economy collapsed, Jeff put me to work selling shoes on Saturday, and I worked for Run In for
I never knew that.
probably 2 years. Yeah, we weren't even making rent at the time.
That's when they made that dip in sales.
That's when they made the dip in sales.
And then I got Scott introduced to you
Yeah.
in training and prepping for my 100-miler, which was Pinhoti. So we did a 100-miler with Joel, the Grindstone.
Yep.
Then we did the following year, I did a 100-miler at the Pinhoti in Alabama, Grindstone being in Virginia. And then you did it the following year.
Yeah, so I think it was like 3 years in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I met you on the Blue Ridge because I remember calling you on your cell and letting you know we were at the Boy Scout camp, and that's where we were. And we pulled up in the FJ, pulled out the awning, and we were sleeping on the cots.
This is the middle of the night. I rolled up in there, flashed the headlights on you and Lori, and like,
We were just out in the open.
time
under
to
the
go,
awning.
time to go, wake up.
It was awesome.
That was right. Yeah.
And that's when I met Wayne too.
Wayne. That's
Wayne
a
was
name
on,
I've forgotten, but Wayne, yeah, great guy.
and I was amazed at the care that he took of Joel. Like
Mhm.
he had no problem diving in the dirt, helping Joel get his socks off, putting the stuff on his blisters, and taking care of Joel. He had no problem.
And that's the
Wayne
ultra,
Ingram.
yeah, that's the ultra marathon community, and trail
Yeah.
runners are like that. But that was our first real introduction into it,
Yeah.
and to see it. And then when I did the JFK 50, I was starting to see some of that because I stopped at. They have this aid station, 38 special at mile 38, which is huge, and I'm blistered up and pull my shoes and socks off, and Suzanne's there because Joel been gone probably half an hour, 45 minutes ahead of me, and I'm blistered up, and same deal. People just jump in to help you. It's so much better than the road running groups, because then it was for that it was just it's a different mentality. They're all about the run, getting it done, but we in ultramarathon and trail running, you enjoy the adventure together. It's about just completing it and the fun together. It's not necessarily about the time and how fast you did it.
That's what I was going to
So-
say. When you talk to a road runner and you tell them you did Myrtle Beach Marathon, what was your time?
Yeah.
That's the first question. Usually when you talk to an ultra guy or a guy out, what races have you run?
Yeah.
What have you done? And there's always time to eat a snackable peanut butter and jelly sandwich. There's always time to eat an orange or hang out or
You always hung out around the
Yeah.
races, before, after some, and it was always a fun time. Just yeah, that's what really drew me to it. Plus, not being the speedster that I needed to be to have success in the road running.
You know, you say that, and I was thinking about it the other day because we went for a hike the other day and we were talking about some of this stuff. When I met you, you were not fast. But as we progressed over the years, I couldn't catch you.
Well, I was-
your speed improved.
And I was faster
dramatically.
on trails than I was on the road.
You were.
For whatever reason. I remember trails just were natural to me because I remember doing training runs, night runs, where it's a funny thing if you've never trail ran before. When you start doing it, you think, I'm going to trip and fall. I've got to pay attention to every little route, every little thing. And it becomes like this sixth sense. Like you just know, your brain knows what's coming.
Yeah.
And I got good at it, and I could run fast and never pay attention really to the trail. My brain was processing everything. But this particular run, I remember it was late at night, and I was spotting deer way down in the gullies over here, calling them out, just seeing the lights reflecting on their eyeballs. And Mark was going, what's he doing? Where's he seeing deer? What's going on here?
I remember that Mario Andretti commercial.
That's what it was,
That's what I
like-
was talking about that
Yes.
night because you were calling all this stuff out, and I was just hanging on for dear life. 'cause
Everything
I'd
was a blur to you.
Everything was a blur, and you guys were like, "Look at that pretty butterfly! Look at those deer!" And I'm going, "Oh my god!" But when you talk about feet placement, and you just kind of pick it up, and you just kind of know. I remember Scott barreling down this scree field, just going, "This is stupid. This is stupid. This is stupid."
Was
But
he the
you
one going,
just
"I'm gonna die, I'm gonna
flying-
die, I'm
You're
gonna
just
die"?
flying down there, and your feet have a tendency to just kind of skip over
Yeah.
a bad spot and land, and maybe draw back before or something. And Scott was, I remember him commenting on that, going, and yeah, your body knows.
In our heyday too, this being when you got the nickname Cannonball, we would run downhill. I mean, red lined, all
Yeah.
out, and we were right on top of each other, so nobody could make a mistake. And you followed in the footsteps and the pace and the pattern that everyone laid before you. So if they took a funny jump way to the left and to the right, you're just on faith. You're going where they're going, leaping out. And if one of us had wiped out at the front,
Oh, it would have been a pile.
it'd been a huge
It would
pile
have
up.
been arms and legs and elbows.
We would have been tangled. It would have taken crews to extract us from each other.
Pull these guys apart, man.
But
I remember taking Clevy up like 10 feet off the ground
Mhm.
with that kind of thing. Because you take a step over here and a step over here, and pretty soon you're running up the side of a log and jumping off, and you're 10 or 15 feet up.
yeah,
And Clevy was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe we did that." He had no idea. We used to do that stuff all the time.
There's so many good memories from all of those times out with all of the group, especially you three guys, or you two guys, with three of us, because there are a lot of hours that got poured into being out on the trail, whether it was training or just out having fun.
Well, it's
Many Saturday mornings.
like the hike Saturday. What, 7 hours?
Yeah.
When we were out there. So
And never did lose conversation.
nah.
No.
I mean, there was never. I mean, there were times where one of us dropped
Couldn't
back
breathe.
a little bit,
Because we were climbing
Yeah.
for 4 miles straight.
that kind of thing. But
Or having to medicate. Hang on a second while I open the pharmacy up and take out
get
what
some
I need.
Advil. How many can I take, Nick? Only about 4, Mark.
Yeah. That's related to the story of Mark Spinhody. He was running with, he may have been running with Scott, pacers throughout the race. And anyway, he rolls into the aid station and he's wanting some Advil and ibuprofen. And I open up his pack and look to see how many was in there. I think there's about 4 left, and I think he started with 20. Somewhere 16, 18, 20.
Like, Joel, how many did he have?
I mean, he had just been downing them like Tic Tacs, and I had to cut him off.
I felt good, though.
I know, yeah, I'm sure you did. And that race, I remember, and you'll remember this. Mark rolled into that aid station at night. I mean, just in bad shape.
It was mile 68, I think.
And it was right before we started a big climb up Pinnacle, I believe it's called. But it's the biggest climb, or maybe the second biggest of the race, but it's in the middle of the night. I was all ready to go, thinking, all right, I'm going to go. So he rolled into this aid station. He had one short hop over to the next aid station where I picked him up to take him up the mountain, go across it, and come down. And Scott was with him, Ethan too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Ethan too.
you guys were both running with him. You're looking rough, buddy. And I thought, well,
Scott has told me this story, and I have no memory of this.
It's probably
You
the
guys-
medication.
You guys got me through this,
So
and I have no memory.
I'm thinking we're done. So I leave that aid station as you guys walk off, headed up the little hill to go over it. Head to the next station, fully thinking we're done. He's toast. I'm not in any mindset to run. As a matter of fact, I don't even think I had all my running stuff with me at the next aid station. I'm sitting by the fire waiting. What did he take?
So he sat, when we got to the FJ, he sat down in a chair and he was like, Lori, get my horse salve.
Horse salve. That is it.
And she had this ointment that she got, and she rubbed it on Mark's legs, and Mark, I think, ate a bologna and
Bologna
cheese
cheese.
wrap
He
In a
had, those, he
tortilla.
had those all day. I couldn't stand that.
and a yoo-hoo. And
We could talk about his eating habits later, but we'll keep going with this story.
but we sat there about 10 minutes, and I'm the same way you are, I'm thinking, because I think I had another short leg.
Yeah, he had a little leg, and I drove around, and
Yeah.
you were running with him.
And I'm thinking, well, we're probably not going to continue on, because he couldn't stand up hardly. When you came off of that trail onto that off that single track onto the fire road, you were stumbling. And matter of fact, I had to catch you when you came off of the trail, because it was a little jump. But anyway, you sit down, put the horse salve on. 10 minutes later, you get up, said, "All right, Scott, I'm ready." And and it was about a quarter or 3/4 of a mile climb, and we got up on top of this ridge, and you was like, "Okay, I think I'm ready to run now." And we took off running again.
At
and
mile 68?
Yeah, it was around miles.
It's probably 65.
65, yeah. And I
'cause
think I
picked you
ran
up
with
at
you to 68, and then you picked Nick up.
I have no memory of
And
that.
you came rolling in, and I'm lounging by the fire pretty much as we were sitting here now, thinking we're done. And I looked at you and went, oh no, because I'm not prepared to go run this mountain at this point, mentally or physically, because my stuff's still in the truck. I have to take off running down to grab my stuff, bring it back up here, and we take off. And I made the mistake at that point, if you remember this with you, because I said, man, you're looking good. You could walk this thing in and still be good.
I remember that. Because I hit the
brakes right then and there. And it's like, oh, check that off.
Check that
Gonna
off.
finish this walking in, we're good. So we spent quite a while up that mountain and on it, but you got it done. You definitely got it done and came in with with Lori Darling helping you finish, which was cool.
What I remember was climbing Mount Chia, and you kind of go up all those switchbacks. Like you go way around and then come back, and it seemed like you could smell bacon from the base of the mountain,
Yeah.
and you knew it was coming, but you just had no idea when
The
you were going to get there.
The bacon stops were killer because in my race, when I was leaving the top of that mountain, they had to drag you away from the bacon
Yeah.
to go run with me because
Yeah.
I was leaving you.
Wait.
He'd down a couple of pounds of bacon probably by that point.
Do you remember Broccoli Girl?
I
Like,
do remember
we're-
Broccoli Girl.
We were there eating bacon like normal human beings,
Right.
and she came in with like, I don't know, 10 pieces of broccoli and took off running, and we never saw her again.
Broccoli Girl was amazing.
She
That is true. I do remember that, but that was good times. That same aid station, this may be more than we want to share, but that was the same aid station you came stumbling into that the year before I came in and decided that the lining of the shorts wasn't going to work anymore.
Yeah, I remember that. And I thought that was the most terrible decision ever. I was like, this is gonna kill his run. He's done.
Change periodically through a race, and so I basically rolled in, and chafing is a real deal. It's a real issue. And I just said, I didn't tell what I was going to do. I just said, somebody got a knife?
Oh, and I knew immediately
I pulled
he's gonna
those
cut
shorts.
them drawers out of those shorts, and I was like, this is gonna be a mistake. This is gonna be terrible.
It was freeing, for
But it
sure.
But you knew best because you did it, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, it's gonna kill him.
And so getting back to something maybe better topic. In your race, I also remember you coming up off the trail to that little lake, rapping as the widest rapper ever. And there's video of this that we're
I
gonna have
don't
to
know
get.
where- I don't know
I've
where
got
it's
it.
at.
I
You do
have
not
it,
have
and
that
we are gonna
video.
have to link that and put that together in this because it is just gold.
It's stupid.
Gold, my friend.
Well, you do all kind of
Yeah,
dumb
we
stuff.
were laughing. You know, one of the times I remember just seeing Mark come in is at the Yeti snake bite.
Oh my
And,
God! I gotta go.
On the 50 miler, and he what do you have on, like cheetah shorts or something?
Barely had on anything. I mean,
And no
basically
shirt.
Tarzan was more dressed than you were.
And you came running up, just sweaty mess. And,
It was a sweaty mess.
We took you to the lake.
You were the only one left. The rest of us had already
Well, you wouldn't even let me
bailed,
get in the truck. You were like, get in the back of the truck.
and I had to go and follow you into the lake to make sure you didn't cramp up and drown.
Get in the back of the truck. Was that the race that Angela sat down and went, I'm a 50K girl. I'm not a 50 miler. I am a 50K girl.
That is the race. That's the race that was most famous for what happened before the race with the wonderful hotel which you booked for us.
I did.
Which ended up being basically a drug deal pigsty of a hotel. That was
To tell you how bad it was, we went and bought sheets. Angela and Lori were there with us, and it was you and
it was three of us.
yeah, the three of us and Angela and Lori, and we went and bought sheets. Angela cleaned the bathrooms.
Well, no, Angela told them the bathrooms were dirty. She went up to the front desk and told them that the sink and all was dirty. And rather than them going and saying, I'll take care of that, go and clean it, they hand her a little thing full of cleaning supplies so she could go clean it.
Yeah, good luck.
And she did.
Yeah.
To her credit.
Yeah, and we barricaded the door
Yeah,
on
those
my
two
side.
rooms were like
We had
side by side.
adjoining rooms.
And we
Yeah.
had the door open and barricaded the doors and had
Slept.
a
Pistols.
pistol on the nightstand. I don't think any
Cock
of
and
us.
lock, basically.
Well,
Yeah.
it was so bad we stayed in yurts the next year.
Yep. We did.
Yep.
Oh, that was such a. I just really hated that race.
You remember we were on a section of that trail that was brand new, and
Yeah.
it was a loop. We did like 3 loops.
Yeah.
And it was a side hill run, and it hurt so bad because you ran for so long and you were on this side hill, not a cut level trail. I remember my feet, legs, just
We were talking about that on the hike we just did.
Yeah.
we did part of the Palmetto Trail down the Low Country,
Mhm.
and he and I had this conversation because that trail is so like flat
Yes.
that you use those same muscles, and it made us think of that side hill on Yeti Snakebite because
Yeah.
it just wore him out.
Yeah, it
I
was
mean,
rough.
He had a IT band
IT
issue
and plantar fasciitis.
on
so,
that side.
Yeah.
It was wearing you out.
Yeah.
Well, the following year at Yeti Snakebite, I had my shoes were dead. I lost my radio. My clothes were chafing. I had like 4 or 5 things go. So y'all dropped out one year. And the next year I dropped out. I was like, man, I'm out.
Yeah.
I just couldn't. I could not do anymore.
Oh, they changed the course a little bit that on the second year because we had that
Yeah.
big river crossing.
Yeah, and that's where my iPod got
Yep, hit the
destroyed
water.
with the water.
I didn't go back. I was like, I'm out. I'm done.
Well, Angela, did Angela drop or did she finish? Because she came in and her face was shaking. Her muscles were cramping so bad.
I remember Matt and I finished the race, and I was trying to think what she did.
I can't remember if Angela finished, and her daughter ran that race with us too. There's a picture with Amber in it.
Is it?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think you're
her
right. I remember
Amber
that.
ran that race too,
Okay.
but I can't remember if the girls finished or not.
That one was a different time of day too because it ended in the night, in the dark.
Yeah. And wasn't Erin? Did she go to that one?
I don't remember because what I know is you and I went down a day early and spent the night before in the yurt, or we got down there at least early, and the 2 of us were in the yurt, and then everyone showed up later. So it was one of those 2 things.
Matt, Angela, and Amber, and I can't remember if Erin was there that time or
I
not.
don't
But
remember.
we slept in the hammocks on the deck,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody else slept in the yurt.
Mm-hmm.
What was the name of that place in Georgia?
Sweetwater.
Was it Sweetwater? They had like an old mill.
The mill was where they filmed part of Catching
Games?
Fire, Hunger Games.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's some video rolling around of us just
You and I
rock
were,
hopping
yes.
through that.
Yeah, we did
that
that
river.
exploring around a little bit before that. So
Mhm.